Last year, in the first ever presidential directive on this challenge, I made it clear that preventing mass atrocities and genocide is a core national security interest and a core moral responsibility of the United States of America. That's why I created a new Atrocities Prevention Board to bring together senior officials from across our government to focus on this critical mission. This is not an afterthought. In short, we need to be doing everything we can to prevent and respond to these kinds of atrocities. Because national sovereignty is never a license to slaughter your people.
The Atrocities Prevention Board is an interagency structure that's been sort of grounded in the National Security Council, which is the advisory body that links directly to the White House. And essentially its job is to coordinate across the U.S. government and bring all of the key leadership from all the various agencies that focus on issues related to atrocity prevention to come together and develop more nuanced and focused policies on preventing mass atrocity crimes, which are genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and ethnic cleansing. And Obama announced this board on April 23rd at a speech at the Holocaust Memorial Museum. But this has really been part of a long-term government process. The board will be chaired by a member of the national security staff, so a direct advisor to the president on security policy. And it will include leadership from across the U.S. government, from agencies like the Defense Department, USAID, Homeland Security, the intelligence agencies, pretty much every major actor involved in atrocity prevention as a policy priority. At a pretty high level, mostly the assistant secretary level, they will meet approximately once a month continuously. And essentially they will come together to evaluate risks across the board globally, but really more to make sure the right questions are being asked about particular crises, make sure that atrocity risks are receiving enough focus within their own agencies on particular crises, and have this continuous ongoing focus on these issues. Then they do have a role in crisis response and will meet, in addition to these monthly meetings, in an ad hoc way as crises suggest. So for example, if down the road a situation similar to Libya was evolving, the board would start to meet more frequently and start to focus on more concrete policy option development that they can then suggest to the executive. There are a lot of other things going on throughout the international community within other governments to make similar assessments about their own policies towards atrocity prevention and their own government capacities. So while the U.S. government approach in particular isn't necessarily exportable to other governments to replicate exactly. The U.S. government is very unique in terms of its structure, in terms of its potential to impact certain situations, its leverage points, its the various ways it can engage the world. At the same time, what is definitely a replicable process is the internal assessment that the U.S. government has done of its own capacities. Its survey of what assets it has, what gaps are still remaining in terms of what the U.S. government can do to approach mass atrocity situations. Other governments can make this same reflection, many of which are, and consider how they can better structure their own responses to atrocity crimes.